Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, it's going to be all about how to become a full-time clothing reseller on eBay, Vinted and Depop. Now, before I get into the video, I just want to share with you a little bit of background on myself. My name is Jason, by the way. If you haven't watched my videos before, then I'll just tell you exactly, who I am and what I've managed to achieve. So, I used to be a full-time clothing reseller on eBay itself. Now this is my eBay store, you can see it here. I still sell clothing on eBay to this day, albeit in a much smaller volume than what I used to. I have personally sold more than 100,000 items on eBay between 2014 and 2019. That was the peak of my clothing reselling on eBay. I've sold more than 1 million in used women's clothing on eBay, on ebay.co.uk. You guys can just pop Jason Carl Morgan, that's me. You can pop my name into Google, you can bring up my eBay store and you can verify that this is true. You can see here, guys, it says 100,000 items sold on this store, and as you can see, I have used ladies clothing in the store right now. However, to this day, I now own a wholesale clothing business and I help other sellers become full-time resellers on platforms such as eBay. So what I'm going to share with you in this video, well, basically I have built a 6-step process that you can follow to basically go from just an idea that you had yesterday. Yesterday you woke up and you said you decided you want to be a clothing reseller on eBay. Well, I can tell you that would be a fantastic idea, because used clothing is a growing market. Sustainability in used clothing is higher than it's ever been before. There is a circular economy and it is a growing market. So this is a fantastic time for you to get into this. Even more so when I first started getting into it back in 2014. So what I'm going to share with you in this video is a complete process from start to finish, where you can just take an idea to becoming a full-time clothing reseller on platforms such as eBay, Vinted and Depop. Now, I'm going to concentrate in this video mostly on eBay because that's where a lot of my expertise lies. So, but these processes will translate over to newer marketplaces such as Vinted and Depop as well. Okay, so what I'm sharing in this video, you can use over on those platforms as well. So, I just mentioned briefly about I am now a wholesale clothing business, right? So I own a business called Sell My Clothes, which is sellmyclothes.co.uk, which I'm going to just share with you guys exactly a little bit of background on what exactly this is. So Sell My Clothes is a clothes buying service. Basically, think about We Buy Any Car, right? So Sell My Clothes is kind of like that. It's we buy any clothes, right? The same sort of thing. So we have very, very set and strict criteria, which you can read about on this website. Effectively, what we do is we allow the general public in the UK only to, they can book collections that we schedule for them, and they essentially ship their clothing to us. We process it, the clothing which meets our criteria for acceptance, we pay them for, and the rest of the clothing we simply donate. Now, what happens to that clothing? Okay, this video is not about Sell My Clothes, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on how we have a wholesale clothing business. So what happens to that clothing then is that we make that clothing available to resellers. Now, I mentioned briefly at the start of this video that these days I now help individuals and businesses start their own reselling businesses on eBay, and one of those niches that I help people sort of build businesses in is the resale of used or pre-loved clothing on platforms such as eBay, Vinted and Depop. Now, what we do with our wholesale clothing business is we use that as a platform to get these businesses off the ground. Okay, so we make our clothing available to resellers so that they can start their businesses reselling clothing through the means of drop shipping, so they don't have to front any upfront cost for buying clothing wholesale. Okay, but what we can do is we can then, once you start building your sales, we can then transition you over to becoming a wholesale client of sellmyclothes.co.uk, where we can then start shipping clothing to you in bulk. But in the beginning, you do not need to do that at all. Okay, in the beginning, you can do everything completely hands off through the means of dropshipping. Now, if you don't know what dropshipping is, well, basically dropshipping is simply where we store the product, okay? You sell the product, we store the product. When you get an order, you send those order details over to us. We ship the product direct to the customer. We do that white label so it looks as if the product comes directly from you. Dropshipping is not a new concept whatsoever. Now, what we do is we do all of this dropshipping for you, okay, so that you can build your store, right? And then once you build your store up to a certain level, we can transition you over into becoming a wholesale client of ourselves. Now, let me just run through the processes with you. Everything I'm sharing in this video, there is going to be a link in the description, guys. So, you know, if I'm skipping past things and you want to go and find out more, you can just use the link in the description. So, what you see in front of me is our website. This is where the link in the description will take you. So, how to become a full-time clothing reseller on eBay, Vinted, and Depop. So, like I've briefly touched on in this video, our process is designed to be very, very simple, very, very flexible, and also very, very profitable right from the start, right? So this is our 6-step process that is going to take you from having that idea yesterday to become a clothing seller. You know, maybe you thought to yourself, oh, wouldn't it be great if I started selling clothing, you know, in scale on eBay? Well, we're going to help you do that with this video, right? And I'm going to be able to take you from nothing all the way to actually doing this as a full-time job, right? So the first thing you need to do is you need to open an account with us, right? So that you can start selling our clothing, right? Now, you're not going to need to buy any clothing up front or anything like that at all. Now, if you head over to this page here, open an account, the first thing you need to do is create a reseller account with us, okay? So what you need to do is click this link here, pop your details in, and create a reseller account with us, okay? Now, here's how it goes. What we will do, when you create a reseller account with us, okay, you just select this one, get started with dropshipping, because that's what you're going to be doing right in the beginning. You're going to be dropshipping, right? And what we will do with this, okay, it costs $3.95 to get started dropshipping with us today. And what we will actually do with that, when you pay that $3.95 to come on board, okay, is that we will fund all of your sales for your first £1,000 in sales on whichever platform you decide to choose. Now, let me just try and explain that a little bit more, right? So how it works is that when you come on board, okay, and become a reseller selling ladies' clothing, okay, because that's what we supply. We only deal in ladies' clothing, which is probably the best selling type of clothing that you can sell on these platforms anyway, is ladies' clothing. What we do for you is we will supply all of the clothing that you sell on your store or in your store, okay, completely for free to all of your customers who purchase those clothing pieces. We'll do that completely for free, okay, for that one-time cost of $3.95, okay? So it's $3.95 to come on board. You can then sell any of our clothing pieces until you reach £1,000 in sales. And then once you reach £1,000 in sales, okay, then we can look to transition you over to becoming a wholesale client of ourselves, where we can then start bulk supplying you clothing in greater volume, so you can start to scale your store. So what this basically means is that we will cover all of the supply costs for all of your clothing sales, okay, and we continue to do this until you do reach £1,000 in sales on whichever platform you decide to start listing your clothing on, okay? So that could be eBay, Vinted, or Depop, for example, or even Facebook Marketplace. Okay, but I would honestly choose eBay, and I'm going to tell you why a little bit further down in this video, okay? So what this simply means is that you will not have to pay a single penny more than $3.95 to join our reselling program today to get your store off the ground and up and running. So it's just $3.95, and you're not going to have to pay a single penny more until you've made at least 1K in sales on your chosen platform. And there is no time limit on this either, guys. So even if it takes you 1 year to make £1,000 in sales, okay, there is no time limit on it whatsoever, okay? Even if it takes you 1 month or 1 year, it doesn't matter. No time limit whatsoever, okay? So, step 2, now you know how to come on board, okay, how to start selling clothing. Now I'm going to share with you exactly how our process works once you are in the program and once you are actually on board. So assuming you've now created a reseller account with us, that now gives you sort of permission to resell our clothing. What you can do is you can then access our pre-loved women's wear catalogue. Now you can see a sort of small snippet over here, but what I'm going to do is pull this up in a larger version. And you can view this larger version. Anyone can view this. This is public, okay? So you can view this even before you sign up. And what you'll find in this catalogue is you will find all of the clothing items that we currently have available. And we have typically on average around about 500 pieces of high quality ladies clothing items that you can sell on these platforms right now, okay? So all you have to do is start adding these items to your stores, okay? And you can do that very, very simply by just downloading the product images, okay? As you normally would, we take high quality images, lots and lots of images, provide all of the listing data for you, including optimized product titles. We give you pricing recommendations, we give you profit recommendations depending on your selling price, we give you condition grades, descriptions, we give you all the item specifics, everything you need in order to create listings on these platforms. Now, with eBay, it's actually a little bit better than that because you don't have to create listings individually on eBay, but more about that in a moment. So, assuming you know now how to pull up our pre-loved clothing catalog, okay, which is very, very simply, you can go and do this right now. What you need to do to start selling items on whichever platform you're deciding to sell items on, well, yes, you need to create the listings on that platform itself. You know, you download our product images and then go off and create the images, the listings on that platform. But what you need to do is you need to track the items that you're selling. Okay, so what the step 3 is to create a watch list so you can track the items that you're selling. So essentially, as it says here on the screen, is once you found an item that you'd like to sell, you should add that item to your watch list, okay? And we give you access to your watch list when you come on board so that you can actually physically track the items that you're selling. So once you've added to the item to your watch list, you can then go off and create the item on the platform and start selling that item for whatever price you want to sell it to. Now, the reason you want to create or add items to your watch list is that doing so creates something called a watch item notification for items that you've added to your watch list. And what this does is that this gives you you will automatically receive out of stock or status changes, out of stock notifications for items which you are watching. So the reason why we do this is because it's possible for multiple sellers, not just possible, it's actually very, very likely because we have a number of sellers enrolled in this program. Just think of this as a startup program, a stepping stone to scaling to a full-time level. When you do this with dropshipping, this is what you're doing. This is a stepping stone sort of initial startup process, right? So we have lots of sellers who are currently in this startup phase, and what they are doing is they are dropshipping these clothing items that we have available in this catalog, which we sort of give you access to. Now, because it's possible for multiple sellers to sell the same item, it's crucial that you do track the items that you're selling, and you do this through your watch item list, okay, which, like I said, you'll get access to once you join the program and start adding items to your watch list. Now, what this essentially does is not only does it give you out of stock notifications, so if an item is sold by another seller or the item becomes no longer available, you will receive an instant notification to let you know that that item is no longer available, okay? Now, this is beneficial because you get that notification, you can then go into your store and you can remove that item from sale to prevent you from overselling or selling out of stock items, right? And it is a very, very tried and tested process which essentially prevents people from overselling items which are out of stock because it allows everyone to track everything, okay? Now, this process works really, really well. Like I said, we have multiple sellers who are currently in this startup phase and they are all selling the same items, okay? Now, to create an item, watch item notifications, very, very simple. Within our catalog itself, you will see a watch item button, which is the purple button here. Now, all you need to do is just select this button. Now, if you choose this button, it'll take you over to the receive watch item notification page. And all you need to do is just pop in your email address and subscribe to notifications. and that's it. Once you've done that, that item will be added to your watch list, okay, and you will begin to receive status updates for that item. So if the status changes for any reason, if the item is in stock and becomes no longer available, you will receive an instant notification so that you can take action and remove that item from your store. Now, there's another part to this as well, and this brings me on to why you would probably want to sell on eBay. Now, eBay, in my opinion, is probably still the number one platform to sell used clothing on. And one of the reasons why is not only that eBay's got, I don't know, tens of millions of more customers or traffic per month than other platforms such as Vinted and Depop, but also because eBay is now also free to list on. Okay, so if you open a brand new eBay account today as a private seller, you will be able to list 1,000 items a month, okay, which is more than enough to make sure you have zero listing fees whatsoever, and also you will have zero selling fees on eBay. Okay, so you can use this process on eBay and have zero fees whatsoever. So everything you sell, you have no fees for, and everything you sell, we supply for free as well. So everything you sell, 100% of the money that you receive for every sale, you get to keep, right? That's what you're able to do with this program. So how do you do that with eBay? Well, what you can do is you can save a bunch of time listing products on eBay by using our pre-made import files. Now, we've, like I said earlier on in the video, we've some 500 or more pieces of women's clothing that you can start selling right now. And what we've done is we've made import files that work with eBay, with ebay.co.uk. Okay, so you have to be selling on ebay.co.uk in order to utilize these. Now, what these files do is rather than creating listings manually, if you're an eBay seller, you can use our pre-made import files. Now, these are CSV files, that's a comma separated file, right? That is not really important. They're just like Excel, they're like spreadsheets, like templates, right? And what these templates have is that they are pre-populated with all of the listing data that you see available here in the catalog. So for any product in the catalog, if you go across, all of this listing data is formatted, pre-formatted in the import files that we allow you to access through this program. So you can create eBay listings simply by uploading a file to eBay, and the listing will get created with all of the listing information, all of the images, all of the titles, all of the item specifics, even pricing. Everything will be done for you within less than 2 or 3 seconds. Okay, and you can just repeat this process with as many items as you want to list on eBay. It makes the process of adding items to eBay extremely fast, way quicker than doing it manually, individually, one by one, way quicker than listing on platforms such as Vinted or Depop as well. So this is why I would absolutely choose eBay over those other platforms, is because eBay is now completely free to do this with. You can use our import files with eBay. All that you need is a brand new eBay seller account with a private seller account. If you've got a business account, bear in mind that it won't be free. You will have to pay, you will get an allowance on listing fees, but you will have to pay insertion fees on anything above that allowance, and business sellers still pay fees on eBay. So the best way to do this right now, the most cost-effective way to do this in this startup phase, is to go with a new eBay account and a private seller account on eBay, because that's going to allow you to do this completely for free, so that you keep every single penny of the sale, right? So how do you actually use our import files? Well, now some people think this is a little bit of a tricky process to set up, but it's really not. It's really easy. What we've done is we've created a step-by-step process, which is, there's only 4 steps to this process, right? And it's basically, is how there's something on eBay. There's something called business policies, right? Now, I'm not quite sure why they name it business policies. It's a bit stupid, but because that just confuses things, because it doesn't even really mean what it means. Essentially, what you have on eBay is you have a return policy, you have a payment policy, and you have a postage policy. Okay. Now let me just simplify exactly what these mean. Okay. eBay call these business policies, right? Even for private sellers, right? Which is daft, right? It doesn't make any sense. Why would a private seller have a business policy, right? That's why it doesn't make sense and why it's daft. So, what these are, a postage policy is simply a setting for which postage courier you're using, Royal Mail, Every, something like that, and how much are you charging for postage, and how long do you take to post the item. That is what a postage policy is, right? A return policy, again, is similar. It's just about your returns, okay? So a return policy would be, I do accept returns, or I do not accept returns. Now, if you're a private seller, one of the benefits of being a private seller is that you don't actually have to accept returns, whereas business sellers do have to accept returns because they have to accept returns by law. So again, that is yet again another benefit of starting this out as a private seller on eBay, because you've got no fees and you don't have to accept returns, okay? Buyers can return items at their own expense, but you don't have to accept them. Now, a payment policy on eBay is just a way for buyers to pay for the items on eBay. Like, where does the payment go? Now, a few years ago, before eBay started processing payments themselves, eBay had a partnership with PayPal. Right now, if you're a bit of a seasoned eBay seller, you would probably know this already, but if you're new, then you might not know this at all. So where eBay used to own PayPal, and then they split and they had a partnership, and then recently they completely split, and now eBay handle all the payment process themselves. So really, a payment policy on eBay today doesn't really mean an awful lot at all, because there aren't really any settings you can choose inside of a payment policy, because eBay now do all of the payment processing. But you still have payment policies on eBay, okay? And they do factor in to making these import files work. Now, everything I've just explained there sounds a bit long-winded, a bit complicated. So let me just shorten that out for you and put it very simply, okay? Now, all that you have to do to make our import files work on eBay, and if you get stuck on this, by the way, you can just reach out to me directly via my seller community. There is a link in the description for that. You can join for free. You can reach out to me there, and I will help you set this up directly in your eBay store for you. It'll take less than 5 minutes to do. You can do it in 5 minutes yourself, but if you're getting stuck and you don't quite understand how this works, well, just reach out to me and I'll set it up for you. So, I'm going to show you exactly how to set this up. So what you need to do is create a new policy for postage, a new policy for returns, and a new payment policy. Or you can just rename your existing policies in eBay. Now, if we go to this link here, this is why we put the link on the page. This link will take us over to the business policies page on eBay. And as you can see, these policies, if we look at the type column, these policies are returns policies, payment policies, and postage policies. And all they simply are, as I explained, they are just settings for what type of postage you offer and how much you are actually offering on your postage. Now, when you're selling these items, you can set the settings for your policies, anything you want. You can set the postage prices to anything you want. You can set the postage speed, the postage service to anything you want to use. All of that is completely up to you, right? But what you need to do to make these import files work is you need to either create new policies, okay, which you can do here, or you can just simply go into your existing policies, because chances are you might actually have some policies already set up. You only need one of each, one returns, one payment, one postage policy, and you need to go into those policies and you need to rename them. The policy name is the only thing that you actually do need to pay attention to. And what you need to do is you need to make sure that your policies are named exactly as they are here, okay? So your postage policy should be called postage clothing, like that, because this is what we have set in our files. Your returns policy should be returns JCM, so JCM is an abbreviation of Jason Carl Morgan. So that's what we've set in our import files. And your payment policy should be payment JCM. Okay, so you have to make sure that you copy those names exactly as you see them on the screen. So capital letters for the first word, the first letter of each word, and the space in between as well. So make sure you copy these exactly the same here, and you paste that into the appropriate policy. If I go into postage clothing, look, you can see we already have one set up on here already. So we would paste this in here, and then we would save this policy, right? So once you've done that, once you've set up these 3 steps, if you like, our import files will automatically create listings for you on eBay. All you have to do is download our import file for any product or any piece of clothing in our catalog that is available right now to sell, okay, and just upload that file to eBay. And uploading the file to eBay is again a very, very simple process. You just go to this link here, which I will show you now, and all you do, eBay says it's a 3-step process, but it's not, because you can skip this one and this one because we've done it all for you. You only need step 3, which is the upload, because we've done step 1 and 2 for you. So all you need to do is click upload template, choose your file, okay, you can see it's this blue button here, but it's kind of hidden by my face. Choose the import file that you've just downloaded from our catalog, and then that will create a brand new listing on eBay within literal seconds, okay? The only way that will fail is if you haven't set up those business policies correctly. If you haven't named them correctly, it will fail because it doesn't know how to assign those listings to the correct policies, okay? So if you are using our import files and you're getting failures when you're trying to upload items onto eBay using our import files, then reach out to me directly and just let me set this up for you, because like I said, it will take less than 5 minutes. I've set it up hundreds and hundreds of times. I will just be able to sort out this problem for you. So there is a step-by-step guide here anyway. So step 4 is basically requesting access to your watch list. So as you start adding items to your watch list and you start adding products to eBay, you start uploading products to eBay. I'll just show you something, in fact. If we go over to the catalog, say, well, I've got this watch item notification, so I'll go back a step. So say, for example, I wanted to sell, so you can only add watch item notifications for items which are in stock, because obviously sold items are no longer available. If I wanted to start selling this item here, right, this Christmas jumper, I know it's kind of out of season, so I would do a watch item notification for this. I would put in my email address and I would click subscribe, okay? And what's going to happen is it's going to say subscription activated, and it gives you a link here, okay? You can see it says download eBay CSV there. So what I do is I click that file, that downloads the file here, okay? You can see the file's got the SKU name in there, but the SKU is the identification, which is the 6369, so you know it belongs to that one. And then what I would do is I would upload that template to eBay. Okay, I'm not going to do it now because that's going to upload it live to this store. But that is all you do, and you just repeat that process of adding items to your watch list, downloading that eBay CSV file, and then just adding that product onto eBay. Okay, the entire process could be done in less than 10 seconds per item, I think. So once you've started doing that, you go into want access to your watch item list. Okay, and the reason you're going to want access to it is so that you can obviously see or monitor all of the items that you are currently watching. Now, you can get access to this very, very easily. All you need to do is just go to our website, log into your account. Okay, so scroll to the top once you're logged in on our website. If you click on the orders tab here, okay, that will take you to the orders page on our website, and you will see something here called watch item list. Okay, that's not what we see here because obviously this is somebody else's account. This is to do with FBA and this is to do with our Sell My Art program. But what you will see in your account is you will see watch item list, and you will be able to see all of the items that you are currently selling. Okay, now if you can't see that, then again you can reach out to us directly via our seller community, and we will make sure that that is activated on your account. But usually what happens is once you create an account with us, we will go ahead and activate that watch item list for you in the background, so that when you start adding items to your watch item list and you go into your account to have a look, you will already see the items being added to your watch item list. Okay, and from there then you can monitor the status of your items. But like I said, you will receive notifications of items as they sell, okay, so that you can take action and remove items from your store if you're not the seller of that item. Now, you will in fact receive notifications in two places. If you've joined our seller community, you will receive a watch item notification if the status changes through that seller community directly. That runs on Slack. Okay, if you're not familiar with Slack, it's kind of like Microsoft Teams, but you will also receive an email as well. Okay, so we send those notifications in two separate places so that there is absolutely no way you will miss them whatsoever. And there's even even as a sort of reconciliation option, if you like. What you can do is you can just log into your watch item list on a once a day basis, pull up your watch item list, and you will be able to see which items have sold, which items are reserved, which items are in stock, and you will be able to reconcile what you're currently selling against what you have on your store. So, moving on. So, when you sell an item, okay, all you need to do to ship that item to your customer is bring the item up either in your watch item list or in our catalog, which is here, and you just click the buy now button, right? The buy now button will take you over to the buy now form, and what you can do with this form, okay, is you can upload your shipping label, which you buy directly from eBay, and then you can place your order with us. It'll be completely free inside your allowance. So if you remember, you will have an allowance of your first £1,000 in sales. So your first £1,000 in sales, there will be no costs for the items whatsoever. We will ship all those items direct to your customer directly. The only thing that you have to supply is the shipping label, and you do that by buying the shipping label on eBay directly or on Vinted or on Depop, and you upload the shipping label via the buy now form. Okay, so what we will do is we will actually give you a unique code which you'll be able to enter into this box here, and this will actually make the cost 0 for you. Okay, so yeah, so that essentially is how you send your orders over to us in the beginning whilst you're doing drop shipping. Okay, if you remember what drop shipping is where we store the product and we fulfill the order direct to your customer for you. So step 6, okay, that is 6, yeah, it looked a bit weird backwards then. So yeah, step 6 is actually how do you then scale from here, okay, because with this process, this is a startup process, right? So this is built in such a way that we will help you start. We will fund your growth to 1,000 in sales. But from there then, what we do is once you've started selling on a regular basis, okay, and you start getting the hang of things, okay, to scale, you just need more volume, right? And that is essentially more listings, okay? So we can get you selling in basically no time at all, right? And we will fund your growth to your first 1,000 in sales, okay? We have up to 500 pieces of clothing available, and we add on average around about 100 new pieces every single week. So we have enough clothing to get your sales off the ground and up and running, just so you get used to how things are as a clothing reseller. And you can continue to do this beyond £1,000 in sales if you so wish. But if you want to scale from there, then we need to look at actually transition you over into our wholesale clothing program, right? Which is becoming a wholesale distributor for Sell My Clothes itself, okay? Now, there is no way for you to come into that program without first going through this drop shipping stage, okay? We do not invite anyone into this program to become a distributor for sellmyclothes.co.uk, okay, and to be able to buy clothing in bulk from that business directly, unless they have gone through this drop shipping stage. Okay, so you'll have to go through this drop shipping stage first, which means you'll have to reach £1,000 in sales, in clothing sales, on eBay, on Vinted, or on Depop. Once you've done that, then we will send you an invitation to join our wholesale clothing program, right? And what this does is that this then gives you access to a continuous supply of high quality clothing that we will ship directly to you. And what this does is this lowers your costs. Okay, so if you think of what your cost would be after you sell £1,000 of items, okay, after we stop shipping your orders for free and you start paying the unit cost, well, if we pull up the clothing catalogue, as you see it here, there is down in the bottom right hand corner, you can't see it because my face is in the way, but the average unit cost of an item in our catalogue at the moment is £3.90, right? That is the average unit cost of an item which is drop shipped direct to your customer. But by joining our wholesale clothing program, what we are able to do for you is by supplying the clothing directly to you, okay, so you're no longer drop shipping, you're directly selling the items yourself, we can lower your acquisition costs per item, per piece of clothing, okay, to just £2 an item, right? Just £2 per item, which in fact is cheaper, okay, than any wholesale clothing supplier that I currently know of. And given that I've been in this industry for a very, very long time, okay, so we can supply clothing to you at just £2 per item. And this is very, very high quality clothing. Okay, you won't have any fast fashion brands, no supermarket brands, no budget brands whatsoever. The type of clothing that we accept through sellmyclothes.co.uk, okay, are only top quality high street brands. So the type of brands that we supply to you, okay, are brands such as All Saints, ASOS, AX Paris, Coast, Debenhams, Dorothy Perkins, Fat Face, French Connection, Jack Wills, Jules, Karen Millen, Lipsy, Mango, M&S, Monsoon, Next, Oasis, Quiz, Rice, River Island, Superdry, Ted Baker, Topshop, Whistles, Wallace, Warehouse, and those similar to those brands as well. Okay, so if you know anything about ladies' clothing, you will know that those brands are top quality high street brands. Okay, they're not designer brands, they're not budget brands, they're middle of the road where exactly you want to be. Okay, average sale prices of these items is between £10 and £14, so that's right where you want to be. That's exactly the average sale price that basically we've sold on eBay, okay, to achieve over 100,000 items sold on eBay and over 1 million used clothing sales. That was with an average sale price of between £10 and £14. Okay, now the type of brands that you won't get is you won't get any men's clothes, you won't get any kids clothes, you also won't get any supermarket or fast fashion. Okay, but those type of brands that you won't get, which you might consider would be included, would be things like Atmosphere, George, F&F, Matalan, Nutmeg, Peacocks, Primark, New Look, Sheen, to Boohoo, Pretty Little Thing. All of those brands are absolutely rubbish. Okay, they will not sell in a used condition. Okay, they sell for very, very little money, and there's just no point you processing those items whatsoever. So you will not receive those items. The only time we may include those items in our dropshipping program or in our wholesale clothing program when we later start supplying clothes to you directly, the only time that we will supply those items to you is if they are brand new with tags. Okay, so that is the only time you will see those types of items, those budget items, included in our catalogue or included in the clothing that we supply through our wholesale program, is when those items are absolutely brand new and they still have the new with tags label on them. Okay, that's the only time. And what this is going to allow you to do, okay, with an acquisition, a per unit cost of £2 per item, okay, This is going to massively increase your profit margins on eBay or on Vinted or Depop, okay? And also, it will then provide you with an opportunity to scale your reselling business as far as you want to take it, okay? Because after you transition out of this startup stage and you come over to our wholesale clothing program, we can then supply you with as much clothing as you can handle, basically. We can supply you with an unlimited quantity of clothing, right? And you can have as much clothing as you want to take on, and you can scale your reselling business as far as you want to take it, okay? So this is what we can do for you with this 6-step process, okay? So if you're ready to start, okay, then I can personally help you basically become a full-time clothing reseller on these platforms, okay? And we do it with full dedicated support, 7 days a week. I do this full-time, guys, okay? So I've been a clothing reseller full-time for many, many years myself. I now help people build their own clothing reselling businesses on eBay and on other platforms such as Vinted and Depop, and I can help you do it as well. So if you do want to start a side hustle and turn that into a full-time reselling business, then you can absolutely do it in this way, okay? It only costs $395 to onboard. Once you're on board, we will then physically fund your growth, okay, to your first £1,000 in sales, and then beyond that you start paying for the products, okay? Average cost of the product is $390, okay? Average selling price is between £10 and £14. So there's lots and lots of profit margin in there for you. But we will then invite you to come over to our wholesale clothing program, work with sellmyclothes.co.uk directly, where you can then buy wholesale clothing that will ship directly to you, which you will then ship directly to your own customers, and you'll be able to buy those pieces individually for as little as £2 per item, which will greatly increase your profit margins on those items and allow you to scale your reselling business literally as far as you want to take it. Okay? Well, there you are, guys. I think I'm going to wrap this video up there. This has been a bit of a different video to what I would normally record. I think, I'm sorry if I've skipped through certain bits. This is the first time I've recorded this video, so I'm, sort of like reading off the page and, stuff. I'm probably forgetting about lots of stuff, but yeah, if this sounds like something you want to do, just join the seller community down below. Reach out to me so we can have a discussion about it. You can even book a one-on-one call. You can do that as well. There's a link in the description for that as well. So yeah, guys, hopefully this is just giving you some food for thought, giving you a way, giving you a path, okay, a funded path where we will actually help you get there to actually becoming a full-time reseller on these platforms. All right, so I'm going to leave this video with you now, guys. Please give this video a thumbs up because it does help reach more people, and I'll be back again with another video in a couple of days. Anyway, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you soon. See ya.